Hey, good morning. This is Joe from Citrus County Porch Life, bringing you a daily word from men for September 17th, 2024, Tuesday. And the word is blessed. And here is the biblical quote: "The Lord your God has blessed you in all the work of your hands. He has watched over your journey through the vast wilderness these 40 years. The Lord your God has been with you, and you have not lacked anything." And this is from Deuteronomy 2:7, the New International Version. And here's the author's commentary on this. There are many forms of the word blessed. We say, "I have been blessed," meaning that we have favor and fortune in some area of our lives. We hear about the blessed God, which means he is holy and set apart. We ask God to bless others, a prayer of favor and sanctification, and we say, "Blessed be the name of the Lord," which is praise. All of them have one core element centered on one being, God. He is the blessed one and the giver of blessing. Here in this verse, we see how God blesses. He is watching over us throughout our journey. He blesses the things we put our hands to. He is always with us, so we don't lack anything in our lives. We are blessed. Yes, the quote is from Deuteronomy, and it's about God telling him he's blessed them all, and it's after 40 years, because he says these 40 years. So they're almost at the end of the journey, and he's in the previous verses. He told them that they were going into the land that he gave to Esau and Jacob's brother. So he told him, "You're not to take even one footstep of his land," because it was a sacred covenant that he gave the land to Esau. And previous verses review all that he had done for them. He had kept them alive those 40 years as he tried to make them a crowd that would obey the commandments that he gave to Moses. Moses, unfortunately, won't be able to go to the promised land. And, he gave him the manna. He just kept them alive all that time. And even during that 40 years, what did they do? They were disobedient. They built the calf because he was gone 40 days to the mountain. And they wanted something to worship instead of the Almighty God. So then I asked the question, what blessings have you received from God? I received so many. One, my parents. They were two young people when they married, and they had a large family, 8 boys, 2 girls, each totally different personalities. My mother, a stickler for detail, easy to fly off the handle, and my father, very, very understanding, especially with me. After my brother died at a very early age, I was raised as the oldest, and when I'd have a problem or something, it never hit me. He always took me aside. He said, "I was a boy too. I know how you feel." And he had great wisdom, very great wisdom, and he loved kids. And my mother did too. When I think of all the work she did in the 50s, it was a 14-year spread and the 10 kids, and they didn't have disposable diapers like they have now. My mother was doing them all the time. There was always a little baby in them. From the time that I can remember, diaper pails all over the house. My mother was constantly doing washing. She started out with one of those ringer washers, and the clothesline was always filled with clothes. I'd put them on. I'd go out and play in the grass and get them all scuffed up and green stains on them, and she'd go crazy. But she made do with what we had. We lived off my dad's salary as a worker in the rubber factory, what used to be called U.S. Rubber, then became Uniroyal. And if we needed more money, he worked overtime. And as I mentioned, I came from a large family, and that was good. We always had something to do. I can remember they quarantined my house when several of us got, I don't know, one of the communicable diseases you get when you're a kid. I think it was measles. And the doctor came to my house, and my mother's name was Lillian. He said, "Lil, get it over all at once." So they put a sign on the door. We had to get deliveries. I did have a great aunt, both great as an aunt and great as a great aunt, who came over. She had 11 children. They were all grown, and she came over and helped my mother take care of us. My mother was going crazy. We were sick, throwing up and everything. And my mother got married at 17, so she was pretty young. She had me when she was 20. She had my brother when she was 18. And, she went right up to 34. That was the last kid. And, but we always had something to do. I can remember on rainy days. Well, back in the 50s, we were out every day, as long as we could possibly be out, and take your little brother with you. So we'd make games that, little kids could play at. But I remember being home in a large family, and it was pouring out. And we just got the clothespins. My mother always saved a gallon jug, a milk jug. They were made of glass then. And we would play get the pin in the bottle. You drop it from a certain height. And we'd make handicap for my little brothers and sisters, and their little chairs that they sat on, and they could sit on them and drop them in. And most of the time we let them win. But it was fun. It was really, really fun. One of the blessings I received from God was being very talented in sports. Not all sports. I wasn't good at football. I was pretty good at hockey, but my sport was swimming, and it carried me through my life. I got a scholarship to college. I had that. Luckily, I had no college debt because I swam. And I had certain certifications. I was a lifeguard trainer, water safety instructor trainer, first aid instructor trainer, and I carried that. And then when I went to graduate school, because I had a degree and I had those courses, and I could teach a course at the college, I could teach water safety, I was put on the adjunct faculty, and I didn't have to pay any tuitions for that. And the same thing happened when I totally changed careers and went to get a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Same thing. I was able to use those skills to become part of the adjunct faculty, and I taught phys ed courses. Another set of gifts I received from God was for secondary education from grammar school through 12th grade was at Catholic schools. I came from a very, very poor neighborhood, about as poor as you could get, and the school was poor, but we received an excellent education. It was in grammar school. It was taught by nuns, Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur, very, very rigorous. And in the high school, it was Christian Brothers, and it made my whole life more exciting. I mean, I was kind of a nerdy jock. I liked math. I liked Latin. And it helped me my whole life. And kind of with that, because of the choices I made in choosing a major, I was able to get an IT job way back at the very beginning of the 70s, before they had personal computers. But while I was majoring in math, anytime I had a chance to choose a course, I picked programming. The earlier programs that what we have now didn't exist then, but I'm talking about COBOL, Fortran, BASIC, and that I lasted in a good 20-year job with that. And then with all the mergers of the banks, things just disappeared. And I made a contract with a company that I would work for them if they paid my health care until I graduated from college. Because they were cutting back their, it was an insurance company who had made big time insurance up in Alaska, and they had an earthquake and they lost a lot of money. They couldn't write any new policies. But I worked for them for 3 years, never missed a day. I did everything they wanted me to do, and they were faithful on their end too. I got my health insurance paid for, and that was a big thing. That was, at that time, it was like $200 for an individual a month. And I worked third shift, and I went to school during the day. So God has blessed me, all these opportunities that I've had, and He's carried me along, throughout my life. And so that's my answer to the question. Well, this is going on. I don't like to make these too long because I know people can't sit down for an hour talk. I could keep going, probably make less sense. And I'm looking at myself in the camera. This is kind of a Walt Whitman vibe I got going here. I saw a picture of him, and the white beard and the white hair. Of course, I read them when I was younger and I didn't have white. But God bless. Have a safe day.